Um, so this is really just an informal session conversation. Hello, Nikolai.
Just want to say hello to you.
How are you?
Hello.
It's nice to see you. Thanks.
Do you have any program for this meeting, or we will simply chat?
So it's really an informal chat. If people want to come online and if they have any questions regarding the
Not
elections
real,
procedure or the voting procedure, and we can answer any other questions that you may have on the awards program or any other things that are going on at the moment. But I think you already put in the vote.
Yes.
Nikolai, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good to know. It's
I
all
have
clear.
completed my duties.
Very good.
Yeah, we had a small, there was a small error, Charles, that I fixed yesterday on the website, the Group 2 document. The link was a bit broken, so I had to fix that. But that's now fixed, so it should all be there. Nikolai, I'm just checking if we received your vote.
Yeah, please check.
Yeah, received your vote on both issues. So thank you very much for that. That's fantastic.
Do you have any feedback on the meeting, Nikolai? Was it useful? Were you able to give your view?
It was an interesting experience to have such a meeting online, to have such intensive discussion online. Well, it looks remarkable. In parallel, we have the same meetings of IUPAC now. And we also reconsider some status changes and organogram changes. So, well, it looks like it works. And this experience will change our life now. Because many such meetings will be transferred to online mode.
Yes.
I don't know if this is good or not.
It is as it is, unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
How did you like the platform, Nikolai? Have you been on Hopin before on this platform?
Well, most probably yes. Well, it is not perfect. It had some trouble. I had some troubles. It's not easy to get used to it, but nevertheless, well, because every day we use different platforms, it's not difficult to be adopted to new one, the next one. So, yeah.
What are you using usually? Are you using Zoom?
Mainly Zoom. In UPAC, we use GoToMeeting platform. And I saw Fabienne Myers, our very important person in IUPAC. She simply connected to see how it works with one Hopin. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's also for us a learning curve to find out what is the best platform for what kind of situation.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, Bonnie, how are you?
Good. I just called, come in to say good morning. I really am not following exactly what's going on. This is an informal session, right?
Well, that's exactly the level
correct.
of informality, so it's great of you to join.
Oh, it was curious.
It's quite early here. I don't know where you all are, but it's not an Eastern time.
For you, it's a breakfast and learn session then.
For me, it's a wake up.
Yeah, wow.
But I will get some coffee. I see it. What's that, a telescope in there?
Yeah, I just saw that too. Nikolai, you have to fill us in what that is.
You'll have to explain it to us when he comes back,
I simply added some light.
Nikolai, we were able to see your telescope, or what are you?
Yeah, this is telescope. This is not actually my one. It is of my son.
Okay, very nice.
He's in Vancouver now, but left this machine here. It is terribly very heavy, so it's staying several years already here behind me. Yeah.
Does it work well? Have you used it before?
Well, he used definitely, yeah. He used. Yeah.
Yeah, Bonnie, you haven't missed anything. We were just having an informal chat about Hopin and how you like the experience, if you had used it before, and what you're using with your organization to have, online normal meetings. But then also, I think lots of members are currently in the process of looking at different platforms to facilitate their annual meetings, or their conferences. So what are you using at the moment, Bonnie?
Well, non-conference kinds of things, but sometimes fairly large. Zoom and Teams, Microsoft Teams and Zoom are the two main tools that everyone uses here. But then when you go to conferences, it's really quite different. I've never used Hopin before. I only was there, Monday part of the day. I wasn't there yesterday at all. So I don't know exactly how I feel about it. I hate when I have to get new usernames and passwords. I have about 5,000 of them, like everyone, and even with LastPass to organize them, it's quite frustrating for me. But I'm old, so it's frustrating. But it's let's see. There's something called Lunchbox. That's a local. Yeah. Well, it's a new one. And it was developed somewhere around the East Tennessee in the United States region, but it's quite good. You have tables. I didn't try to do any table hopping. I don't know if Hopin has that, but it has a number of floors and it has tables, and you can go and visit and you can see who's sitting at what table, and you can move around and pop in and pop out and see who's around. And I find that nice. The AAAS, the American Association for the Advancement of Science, is a big meeting every year, and that's next week. I don't know what they're using, but that's also very complicated. And I don't know what CoData used something for their meeting that worked out kind of okay in the November. So I don't know. Is everybody enjoying Hopin? Is it?
Yeah, I think we're getting some good reviews, but it's mixed, and I also think it depends on how well people know the system, because that's what you can see. People need to get to know the system. It takes a while, so that's the thing. But we're really now looking into, okay, what are we going to do for our General Assembly in October? What will be best? And we of course expect even more people, and so it would be really nice to get the best out of the whole system.
Right. Well, dealing with constitutions and bylaws is a very not exciting kind of thing. And so I watched some of the discussion, on the first day. And you really have to be involved and know what's going on, or it becomes difficult. But there were people that did, so that seemed to be okay.
Yeah.
I thought this was a...
Go ahead, John. Hello, John.
Hello, John.
Yes, we can hear you.
Good. No, I thought it was an excellent thing. I have not met the software before. We've used Zoom a lot. And so it's a little confusing, but it's astonishing how much you can do. I have to say, especially with the right people behind the scenes there. I thought it was astonishing what was accomplished in those working sessions.
Great.
That's good to know.
I can say I did have one big difficulty. I guess it was Monday. You were allowed to kind of meet people. It was a meet kind of thing. And I tapped that I wanted to meet someone, and it took a long time. And then it said there was no match. And then I tried again, and there was no time. It was very unsuccessful, that particular thing. And I don't know whether it was because me and my profile or my sister or whatever, but that was totally unsuccessful and a bit frustrating.
Sorry to know that, Bonnie. Yeah, it's a bit difficult, I think, because when people get matched, they're in their paired matching for a few minutes, which means that nobody is available then to be matched with you. And I think also maybe not a lot of people went actually to the networking because they didn't know what was happening, or they didn't know what was going to happen to them. So it's absolutely randomized. So nobody looks at your profile, and matches you with anybody. So it's really randomized. But I think, like, I was also planning on going there, and I didn't have time because we were finalizing the documents and so on. And then, by the time we were done, it was like super late. Well, so unfortunately, that didn't work.
I spent about 10 minutes trying to get matched, and I just
Yeah.
didn't know what was going on. So hopefully some people had a good experience, but mine was not a good one.
We can try it again after
Yeah.
we conclude this session. We can all go to the networking, and it will work.
No,
We
but-
can try
but-
that.
We had some more of these experiences, Bonnie. I think the whole thing is we're trying to create the real life meeting experience where in the hallway or somewhere you get the chance to meet some people, and we're really looking for that social component that can replace the existing one. So we'll take it into
For
account.
example, the lunchbox that I talked about, where you have a screen that has tables and seats, and you actually can randomly see who's there, like in the hall, or you see people are sitting at a table and you say, oh, I want to go over there and say hi because so-and-so is there, and you can actually have that experience.
Yeah, it gives you a bit more room to really see what's going on and who is there, rather than just totally randomly meet someone, which is the case here. So it's good that you indicated that. Thank you.
Yeah, so there are tools that do that. In fact, I think even Zoom now has a capability for some of that. I'm not positive. I don't work with systems generally. I attend, so but definitely that is a very, very interesting and fun and exciting experience.
Yeah. Thank you.
And when you get to the table, then it looks like this. But you can see, and then you can jump out and go to another table, and just really very much like networking.
Great.
Yeah, it's interesting, the kind of features that they come up with now. And I think also to Zoom, and I think Hopin, they're also adding features, on an ongoing basis. So it'll be interesting to see after a few years what these platforms are going to look like.
No, Lord help us after a few years. So that's a question I don't know if you've addressed. Organizations that I work with say that the future will have to be both, will be mixed. And that's a whole new environment when it classically and standardly mixed. So people have to have a good experience both ways simultaneously, both in person if you're there or otherwise, which is going to require lots of video everywhere, which of course we have a lot of, unfortunately or fortunately. But that's the question of the future for meetings. How is it going to always be a mixed environment? And that is the standard way it's going to be.
For a a technical conference, that's working out very well. It's amazing how many things can look like the original in face-to-face meeting. You have a better time to discuss with poster display people what they're doing. You can meet them again in the conference and figure it out. And you have a much more leisure to select what you want to go and hear. So I've been impressed with some of the really big conferences settling neatly into Zoom arrangement and missing almost none of the flavor that you normally get.
What does
Except
RUMRS do?
Having a drink across the table, there's nothing like it.
Yes. But I think these are going, some of them will stay, they'll last.
Charles, maybe I missed something, but have we decided finally that General Assembly of October will be online?
Yes, the October General Assembly is going to be fully online only.
Yeah.
Because in advance we were, of course, it was going to be held in Oman, and we've been in close contact with Oman, and they really indicated that it would not be possible to get enough time to organize it. And of course, we weren't, at the end of last year, it wasn't clear what was going to happen, and I have to say, even now it's not clear where we stand in October. So it has been decided to be a fully online conference and General Assembly.
Yeah, I used to attend annually one very big symposium. Its name is the European Symposium on Clinical Microbiology. It combines maybe 15,000 of people from worldwide. It is European, but delegation from United States usually consists of 2,000 or 3,000 people. So it is recognized as the largest. And typically it takes place in April.
Yeah.
Last April it was cancelled. Initially they attempted to organize it online, but decided that it is not possible for so many thousand people to manage it. And in this year, they shifted it for July.
Yeah.
So
And they're going to do online, or are they going to do it live?
up to now, this is not fixed yet. This is not fixed yet. But these people should know everything about all these waves, second, third, this pandemic. So they shifted it to July.
Yes.
So this means that we have a hope, we have a chance.
It would be nice, but of course these are the meetings that are also the biggest risk factors if we bring a lot of people from different countries together at a certain point. There is a certain risk to it.
Sounds very ambitious to have it in person, indeed, yeah. I just want to mention that we have a few more people online. So if you would like to join us here in the discussion, just press the blue button, share audio and video, and let us know in the chat if you have any difficulties joining. But this is really just an informal discussion to give you an opportunity to ask any questions on the voting that is going on for the elections committee and the proposed changes, and really to ask any other questions about your membership, the upcoming General Assembly. Hello, Yukio. Very nice to see you. And we just want to point you to a few ongoing opportunities for members. For example, the awards program, and invite you to nominate candidates for the awards program until 1st of March. So really just an informal discussion, also to collect some feedback on our first Holland experience. So feel free to join us.
More about the awards, Anne, about when the deadline is and where people can find the information on the different awards?
Yeah, that is a good idea, Charles. Let me do that. I'm just going to put the link in the chat here again to the awards program. So the awards program was just established last year, actually, by the governing board. So this will be the first edition of the awards, and we invite all members to submit candidates for the awards program by 1st of March. The deadline was extended. It was originally the 1st of February, and lots of members have contacted us and told us, there's lots of letters to collect and letters of support and nomination letters, so please can we have more time? So we extended it to 1st of March, and we hope this will be a feasible timeline now for everybody. There are awards in 5 categories where you can nominate candidates, and the awards will be conferred at the General Assembly in October. So that's when we're going to announce the first edition of the awards program, the winners, so to say, the awardees. So we're very much looking forward to all of your nominations. And I see that some members have already filed some nominations, and I think a lot of members are in the process of putting together the nominations. So very much looking forward to receiving those.
Thank you.
Yes,
yeah, John.
First, I had to introduce. Can you hear?
Yes, Yuki, we can hear you fine.
Okay, thank you. Yes, my name is Yukio Himeyama. I'm talking from Japan, and I'm the past president of the IGU, International Geographical Union. And I was president until the last year. And now our president is Mike Meadows, and he sent some comments yesterday in the General Assembly, you may remember. But anyway, thanks, first of all, to Anne for the lot of reports or newsletter and so on, and a lot of information from the ISC to the unions and other members. And in the IGU, we disseminate those information for the whole geographic community. And of course, within the executive committee, we share all those information.
Well, I think we lost him.
Yes.
Yukio, if you can still hear us, if you can come back on the screen. I think your connection wasn't very stable. Apologies for that.
Yeah, just again, press the share video and audio button. Can I just use once more the opportunity for anyone who is here now and who wants to join the discussion, please feel free to press the share audio and video button. I'll also just update you as we've now formalized the voting documents for the General Assembly, which we had the last 2 days. And the voting documents are on our website, and I think I'm sure you've received a mail from Anne by now with the details. So I would like to encourage you, if your organization hasn't voted yet, to do so within the next 2 days, because the voting will be closed on Friday at noon. And once the voting is closed, we hope to quickly be able to get the results together and have them verified by the tellers, and then bring out the results of both all the changes that were made to the statutes as well as the elections committee composition. And of course, this was a very interesting meeting, but the big meeting for us is this year in October. We are also, at that meeting, is going to be an important part where we elect the governing board members. So please also start thinking about that, because once the elections committee is in place, we will send out a request for nominations for the different positions within the governing board. And we would like you to all really dive into that and think about who your organization thinks should be part of the governing board. Because we can then start that process in the coming month and bring that back to the elections committee, who will then, as we've discussed at the meeting, come up with a short list for each position of all the officers' position as well as all the governing board positions. And that's just something I want to put out there. If you have any questions on that, please feel free to ask now or later, or mail Anne or myself on any of this. I think it's also good to raise, which has been raised before but cannot be raised enough, is that at the October meeting we will also be talking about who will be discussing the bids for hosting the meeting in 2024. And maybe, John, it might be the case that we get these hybrid meetings that we discussed just now about will it be online or in person or both. I think it's hopefully there will be a part where we can meet in person. So that requires a location for that meeting. So if we have member organizations who are there who are thinking about it, please consider that, and for putting in a bid for October as well.
Good. I think the equivalent of poster sessions that we have here, with the opportunity for organizations to give a video presentation all about what they do and what they can do and what they're interested in doing. I found that was an interesting segment of this thing, good display. But there's room to widen that a lot, so as to have at least connections to a lot of the member institutions for people to shop around amongst. Oh, they should be interested in this, that, or the other that we'd like to collaborate with. And it doesn't take it probably just means a little supervision to see that the dimensions are not too big and don't take up too much space or memory.
No, I think
it's a very good possibility.
I think that's a very good point, John, and thanks for bringing that up. I must admit that here internally at the ISC we had a bit of a clash. Well, not a clash, but there were people who said, okay, this is an extraordinary GA about the statutes where we can only focus on that, and there were others that said, no, we have to use this opportunity to get out to the members and be able to talk to them and show what we're doing, but also what all the members are doing. and we came down somewhere in the middle, so we had a bit of that, but it's absolutely the intention to have a lot more of that at the General Assembly in October. We really want to go out in full force and do exactly what you say, allow members to show what they're doing and what they are and what they're capable of. It would be a great opportunity to really get together and show each other what we're doing and who we are. So I think that's a good point, and also choosing the right platform to be able to do that to the maximum effect, and the really possibility for members to get to know each other. So thanks, and we're really looking to do that in October.
Great.
Yeah, and even before that, Charles, because there was a poll that we put under event, in fact, that some of the members, they have put some votes in that little live poll there. If you click under event and then polls, where we ask if you would like us to convene a networking Hopin event, even before the GA. So we were thinking, around the summer, before or after the summer, because we've been getting a lot of these requests from members. They would just like to have a networking event where they can, see what other members are doing, to find to find possibilities for collaboration, just learn about more about the other members. So we're certainly going to do that, because we've been getting a lot of positive feedback for that idea. So I think this is something that's gonna be happening. Maybe we were thinking May or June or something along those lines, definitely before the GA. So I hope this is something that you had in mind, John.
Yeah, I think it sounds a great idea, Anne. Yes.
I have answered yes.
Yeah,
Good.
Nikolai, that we have interest as well? Okay,
Yeah,
super.
I have
That's
answered
great.
yes.
Oh, okay, that's great. So we'll be coming back with some ideas there, and we'll ask for your input, of course, to really make sure that this is the networking event that that you'll be wanting to attend, and make sure that we have everything there. So we're really
I will do it, yeah.
great. Okay, that's good to know. I also see that we have colleagues from one of our new members, or very recent members online, the Institute for Global Environmental Strategies. I hope that you had a good first General Assembly experience. I see Simon and Takashi online as well. Let us know what was your experience with Hopin and also with the GA. If you want to come and join the discussion here, just click the blue button, share audio and video. But thanks so much for being online. I hope it was a good first General Assembly experience. The Institute for Global Environmental Strategies is an affiliate member of the ISC, and they're one of the most recent members. So welcome, a warm welcome to you.
Yes, and so we call this a lunch or breakfast or dinner, just dependent on where you are. But in a way, it's a bit of a cheap offer, because we're not offering the lunch, so you have to bring them yourself to join. But it's not necessary you take it now. It's just more the timing, and I think that's one of the interesting things about, or challenges in a way, of the online era, is that you have to find the right time during the day that you can get everyone together. Bonnie, I'm really amazed you're here so early. That's very much appreciated, but it's difficult to find. We really had a difficulty finding the right time where everyone is happy or able to join.
Well, it's very interesting, because, of course, in the international world, you have this problem all the time. And we've tried, you please half the crowd, then you please the other half. And I was just wondering if, for the most major of work, that if it isn't better to have a routine that everyone can get accustomed to. Just say, look, it's going to be bad for 3 days, but this is what it is. So adjust your life for those 3 days, rather than, jumping around. I don't know what the right thing was, but yeah, I made it at 6, but I just didn't make it at 5.
No.
Not right, because then you have to get up earlier. But yeah, but I wanted to experience it, so that's great.
I think the schedule documentation that you produced was great, and it had the opportunity to convert the times to Pacific time for Californians.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You are.
And
You're 3 hours
that
early.
connection was good. Yeah.
So did you party all night and just come here from the party?
I wish. No, I found other things to do. I turned off the television and finally snoozed a bit.
Yeah.
That's
I'm going to
wonderful,
stop
John.
feeling sorry for myself now that I realize you're 3 hours earlier. It's the middle of the night.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's right. Never mind. It was, you can't please everybody. But actually, having some aspects of the meeting with passive displays, like the expo, also beats that, because it means you can do some homework in your own time frame.
Yeah. Thanks for being here, John. That's really wonderful.
Oh, I'm enjoying it. It's great to see you again and to see other people whom we met for the first time.
Hello, Yukio.
Yes,
Welcome back, Yukio.
well, my talk was interrupted. I don't know why that happened. Was it because of the time limit or
No,
something
not at
else?
No,
all.
I think it's your connection, which seems a bit better now, Yukio. You were a bit broken up before, and now we can see you very clearly and hear you better, I think.
Okay, so I don't know how much you could hear me. I started with my introduction, self-introduction, but I wanted to say two things. First is that we from IGU had a very good experience of using Hopin, but still it's a very early stage of understanding. So, but in the IGU, we canceled or postponed our big meeting last summer for 1 year. So we are expecting to have the alternative one this summer, this year in August. And we had to decide if we have a face-to-face meeting or not in a month or so. Next month we had to decide. But anyway, hoping maybe the one good alternative, because we only used Zoom until today. And actually we had the virtual General Assembly in August last year. And it's quite a long one now, 3 hours or so, and it worked fairly well. But I think Hopin has more opportunities. Still, it takes time to understand it. That's one thing. So I'm experiencing, at the moment, I'm experiencing the Hopin. Second is, which is more serious, IGU is one of the unions which were affiliated with the Science Council of Japan. When the Science Council of Japan was established in 1949, IGU was one of the first unions which Science Council of Japan was affiliated with. And as maybe you know about the difficulty at the moment we are facing in Japan, the Science Council of Japan is in trouble with the Prime Minister. But we very much appreciate the letter from the President of the ISC, which was, I think it's 17th of November last year. There was a very timely letter to the President of Science Council of Japan. And it encouraged us very much. I'm not representing Science Council of Japan at the moment, but in one way or another, I have been involved in the Science Council of Japan for 3 decades almost. And so I am very much concerned about the current situation. And I'm looking for the way for soft landing. Because I think the Prime Minister's attitude of refusing the nomination of the new members, 6 new members to the Science Council, was based on his misunderstanding. And so it's not his fault, because many of the people in Japan still don't know well about the role of Science Council of Japan. So we had to make still effort to let people understand the role of Science Council of Japan. At the same time, ISC And as president of IGU until last summer, I was helped by ISC and ICSU from time to time when we are in trouble. For example, some people try to boycott all the big meetings of IGU because of some reasons, political reasons, so on. Every time, I think we were very well supported by ICSU and ISC. And this time also, we we are very much supported by President's letter to Science Council of Japan President. And a few days ago, the Executive Committee of Science Council of Japan issued a statement again to demand the Prime Minister to change his mind. And the President of the Science Council of Japan asked the Prime Minister to answer as quickly as possible so that the next General Assembly planned in April can welcome the refused 6 scholars. So we are in a very tense moment at the moment, and I think this time, I hope the International Science Council can help us. And I'm not representing the Science Council of Japan, but I'm supporting it very strongly. And I welcome any ideas or actions of ISC. And I don't think it's only the matter of Japan. It can happen anywhere. We are always under the pressure from the politicians, and we have to go in a more friendly manner with the politicians also. It's a benefit to both. And I welcome any suggestions which I can do. I'm still an ordinary member of the Science Council. I finished my term of council member because it's only 6 years for Science, without any continuation. But I'm still the member, ordinary member.
Thank you very much, Yuko.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And yes, we are aware of the situation. Daya is very much, our president, very much aware of the situation. He will also be giving a presentation, I think, at the end of this month in Japan at a meeting of the Science Council of Japan.
Yes, yes.
So rest assured that we are on top of that issue. But please feel free to contact me directly by mail, and we can inform you further on where our involvement and what the options are.
And I found that the homepage of ISC has a link to the interview to me in Tokyo. I was interviewed in the foreign press meeting, and I could find myself.
Very good.
I visited ISC. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks. Thank you for that. And thank you. I would again like to invite people who are listening in to join us by sharing audio and video or asking questions through the chat. I must say it would be nice. We had a very nice meeting, but these meetings also were very much sort of focused on the more procedural matters of ISC. And of course, there's also a lot of science-related material. And the thinking about the action plan and where it stands is also continuing at this moment. And in the coming month, we will be reaching out to members to help think about that. And of course, at the General Assembly in October, the main part, I mean, here we've been focusing this week on issues, more structural issues like the statutes and the procedures. But the main issue in October, of course, will be the activities and the strategy and the science and the different domains that the ISC works on within the action plan. So I like to stress that we don't too much get delved under by all the procedural and statutory issues, because they're only there to help us get to a higher level on the scientific side. I see in the chat Aurelia Anasazi giving some comments. Thank you. I'm happy to hear that you were delighted to participate. Great. We're very, very happy. Please feel free to join with the audio and ask questions. I'm really very happy that so many of you in all different time zones have come to us. Hello, Guang.
Yeah, there's a colleague joining from Cameroon, but he's left the screen.
I don't think he's aware that he's online. And are there other things that we need to bring to the fore at this moment?
Charles, because you were already referring to the General Assembly, do we want to give a brief overview of what members can expect in the coming months in preparation for the General Assembly regarding nominations and so on?
Yeah, so already touched upon briefly, but yes, I think the main idea is that because the meeting is in October, we will have an agenda for you which will be sent in March, the full agenda. And one of the important issues is the elections of the governing board, where once we have the elections committee, we're able to count the votes end of this week and to find out who will be on the elections committee. They will directly go to work and send out a call for nominations from the members for the different positions. So not only then dependent on if the statute changes are accepted, 5 officers and 10 ordinary members. And we really would like you to go back to your organizations and make sure we come up with good proposals for the different positions, and we will send out hopefully at the end of February or maybe the beginning of March a call for nominations for all these positions, and then give the members, I think probably around 2 months to come up with their proposed candidates, and the elections committee will then go to work, also all dependent on whether the new statute changes are accepted, of which the votes can now be put online. So if you haven't voted yet, please go there and make sure that you vote. But if the changes are accepted, then the elections committee will come back with a short list of 2 or 3 people, or for the officers' positions, each officer position, as well as 20 to 30 people for the ordinary member position, and I think they'll provide that to the members 2 months in advance. So let's say around the beginning of August. So these can be discussed at the General Assembly, which is going to be held in the week of 11 to 15 October. I hope we're not in lockdown until that time, but it still would be good to note it in your agenda that the meeting is in that week. It's an online meeting, as we discussed, Nikolai. It's going to be a full online meeting. We are still in the phase of thinking about what exact platform we'll use, but it will be, of course, comparable to what we had, and we want to make sure that there's a lot of options for people to get to know ISC, but especially the members and ourselves, and to be able to discuss all the strategy and the scientific objectives of the organization. There will also, sorry, John, just one more thing. There will also be a discussion on the dues structure. So we're going to send out to the members in also, I'm not sure exactly when, but probably April, May, the proposal for a new dues structure, because as you might recall, at the founding General Assembly in Paris in 2018, it was clear that the old members from ISSC and ICSU use different dues systems, and these systems were kept in place in the way that the old members of both organizations paid according to the system they came from, as it were. And now it's necessary to have, as of 2022, a system that's the same for everyone, for all the members. So there's not a division in systems anymore. And that proposal, there's a dues committee that has been formed in 2019 and has gotten together a number of times to come up with a proposal. This proposal is now still being discussed, and we're getting some feedback, and then the final proposal will be put forward to the members for their discussion and decision at the October General Assembly. So I think that's also important to note. So it's going to be an exciting year for ISC, and we really look forward to the October meeting and to do the same we did this week, but then maybe even a bit bigger and with even more chance to interact. Please feel free to ask questions.
Thank you so much, Charles. John, just note that you were muted by the moderator. Apologies for that. We were getting some feedback. Also, Nikolai, Yukio, and Bonnie, just if you wish to speak, just unmute. We were getting a bit of feedback and echo. So, John, if you can just unmute if you want to speak, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good. Is that right? Good. This is a rather different question. I would like some advice and suggestions on what's the right move. In the action plan for the ISC, there are a lot of different targets and all addressing the need to make science a public good, which is true. But one of the things that's clear is that in all of our fields, the biggest problem there is in getting support and interest into government and policy making and so on is people who really never understood the basics of science. That 1 + 1 always equals 2, and people who can do thoughtful interpretation, logic, and things like that. And there was a time when ISC had an education division or a segment focused on science education worldwide, which is a very different, very various thing. But that, I think, is no longer identified separately. But there is room for scope for somebody to scoop up interest in how early education is for people who are not going to be scientists can be improved so as to represent science in the minds of the electors, in the minds of the lay people, in the minds of the poets as well as the legislators, so that they don't make so that they decide to live in a world that they can partly understand. And I think there's room for us to gather some combined effort from most of our members to address the question. And it may well fit into the general action plan in some ways, but I couldn't see exactly how. But it's one of the things that's, I think, is waiting for the ISC to address. There's nobody better placed than the ISC to consider how to get more people in the world who don't want to be scientists to learn how to think like scientists. And that's one of the things worth discussing. But I don't know where to further that idea other than looking down the list and saying what other unions might like to have a conference about it. Question?
Thank you, John. I think that's absolutely something that can be addressed at the General Assembly, so that might be a place where you can bring that back up. At this point, I don't know the exact point where we are with the action plan discussion, but I'm sure there will be points between now and the General Assembly where there will be some possibility for member feedback, and I think those possibilities are exactly the place where it would be good to to mention issues like this that you think are important and are one of the areas that ISC could make a difference. So please come back to that when those options arise. I can't tell you the exact timing of when these feedback will be asked, but I know they will be there. So please bear with me in the coming month, and then you'll be able to do that.
Good. I think it's low-hanging fruit.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
So may I say something just to John? I know that you want to take this to that future time, but you know, there's two circles of people as you go out. One is people going to universities and colleges that don't study science. They're a prime group to get science numeracy into that education, just like in the United States, at least, everybody that goes to the university takes a basic English course. Well, everyone should really take a basic science understanding. And then there's the great population beyond that. So maybe at least one could tackle, you know, educating everyone about the principles of science that at least gets a university education. So that's just a thought.
Good. Yes. Yep. Good.
Okay, great. I just saw in the chat a message from Ruth. Ruth, I don't know how much you've heard of what I said about the timing, but just very briefly, I'll repeat about the nominations for people on the governing board. At the end of this week, we will be counting the votes, and hopefully that means that next week the elections committee will be able to start. And we will start with sending out a request for nominations for candidates for the different officers' positions and for the ordinary members of the governing board. I think that will go out within the next 2 or 3 weeks. Then we haven't set the date yet before when members need to react, but I think the members will get around 2 months' time to come up with a proposal or with a nomination for the different positions. And then the elections committee will go to work with the information and the people that they have, and they will come back with the short list for every position and for all the ordinary members around the beginning of August, because that has to go out at least 2 months before the General Assembly.
Thank you so much, Charles, for summarizing that. And thank you, Ruth, for your kind feedback that the members newsletter is very useful. That's very good to know. I hope that everybody is receiving those membership updates. If you're not receiving it, please let me know. These are weekly or bi-weekly emails that we send out with the most up-to-date important information for members. The last emails have been very focused on the EGA, of course, but usually we include a lot of updates, opportunities, and events from the general scientific community, from other members, and also from our affiliated programs. So thank you very much, Ruth, for that feedback. And indeed, during the upcoming updates, so once the EGA is concluded, the updates are going to be more focused on the ordinary GA in October, and we'll let you know the call for nominations is going to be in there, and as well the consultation for the action plan, of course. So that'll be all in the upcoming membership updates. I also just want to point here again to the membership notice board, which, as you hopefully know, is a platform on the website that we have created just about a year ago, really, to have one page for members that they can go to find all of the most up-to-date and most important information that concerns ISC members. And I'm just sharing my screen here briefly to show you and to take you briefly through what kind of information we have on there. So currently, of course, it's all very focused on the EGA. So the current opportunities that are listed here is to appoint your voting representative who will vote on the elections committee and the votes and the proposed changes on the rules, on the statutes and rules of procedure. But then there's also a few other opportunities that we've briefly touched on today, which is the ISC Awards program. So we invite you again all to nominate candidates by 1st of March. And then there's also the ongoing call for expressions of interest to host a regional presence in Asia. As you know, our regional offices in Africa, it's coming to an end in March, and the one in Latin America was closed, unfortunately, at the beginning of last year. So we are now in the process of reestablishing those regional presences, and in Asia as well. The contract is ending this year. So if we have any colleagues online from Asia, I saw a colleague from India online, for example. So if your organization has an interest in hosting a regional presence in Asia, please let us know and express your interest by 15th of May. And there's another few opportunities here for you to look at, and they're updated, of course, on an ongoing basis. Then we have a few interesting quick links here for you, and then further down we're always compiling the most up-to-date ISC dates and events, so you can see we have the extraordinary General Assembly there right now. Then there's going to be a governing board in March, just for your information. The European members are meeting in June, and there's also the Sustainability Research and Innovation Congress where the ISC is participating, and of course the General Assembly in October. So those are the where we're just gathering the most important dates for you as an overview. There's also some links to some key documents such as the statutes, the action plan, our logos if you want to include those on your website. Further down, some calls for action and other opportunities. So those are the most, the recent calls for anything really that members and affiliated bodies have forwarded us. These might be some, surveys, calls for nominations, calls for action from members from affiliated bodies, but also from the wider scientific community. So please feel free to share those with your members and with your wider networks. And then I also want to point you to the membership knowledge sharing platform. So this is a platform that we have put in place really to enhance the knowledge sharing among ISC members by gathering contributions like reports, guidelines, statements, working groups, and other initiatives around different topics. For example, international science and science advice, COVID-19 platforms, of course, discrimination, harassment, and unconscious bias. There's another one on ethics and science, and also freedom in science and sustainability. So if you have any contributions from your organization to this platform, please let us know, and we would be very delighted to add this information to this notice board. Of course, as well as any other contributions that you want to add here, please just let me know. If you want to share this with other members and with the scientific community, we're happy to add this here. And also let me just reiterate or really focus on that we are very much open and stand ready to amplify any of your events, any of your vacancies, and we'd be very, very happy to receive information on that, so we can share that on social media, on our website, and through our channels. So if you ever have anything to contribute, just let us know. So I just put the link again in the chat there, the notice board. Really the page for ISC members where we gather everything for you. That said, we're hoping to receive your nominations for the awards program. And if you have any other questions, you know where to find us. Don't hesitate to contact us. Charles, is there anything else that you would like to touch on?
No. I want to thank everyone to be here and to talk to us about this, and especially those who are up very late or very early. It's wonderful to have this chance. And please, if you have any questions now or later, don't hesitate to contact either Anne or myself. We're always willing to help for any feedback on anything. So thank you all very much. And hope to get a chance to speak to you quickly again, and maybe in the future even in person. Would be very nice to meet. All right.
Thank you to you folks for doing such a good meeting.
Good.
Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.